Smith to judge for us, who is going to go through our images tonight and give us some feedback and tell us what he thinks of them. Now, just to remind everybody, you've received emails regarding next week. We have another talk from Alan Sanders, and then we have another members' evening on Photoshop tools. So keep on looking at the calendar of events. Also, for the annual club competition on the 4th of March, you need to make sure that you've uploaded your images the week before. Is that correct, Mike? What was the closing? Yes. So
the date on there, can't remember what it is, but there is one.
Yeah, so please make sure that you upload your photos as soon as you can.
Okay? That's for the yearly one, yeah?
Yeah, it's the yearly one, yeah.
How many images can we upload? Right?
20.
Plenty.
20.
That's it. If 20.
20.
Good God.
That's across all 5 categories.
Yeah. Right, four in each. I've just done my maths.
Well, you can put them. You can spread them out however you like.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you only do one, or only do nature, you can put 20 in nature.
Right. Okay. Right.
Okay.
Well, if you do everything, you've got 20 to spread about to your heart's content.
30 members. That's 600 images.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we've got 2 nights for it.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Good.
And we have Marilyn that's judging. Well, that will be a really good night.
Okay.
As opposed to tonight. Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Nobody said that, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yet.
Okay, well, let's get started. Mike, if you could bring up the images, and over to you, Jeremy. Just to remind everybody that we're going to put you all on mute apart from Jeremy and Mike. So, but obviously, if you need, we'll usually have a break about 8:30, Jeremy. So we'll see where we're up to about that time.
Okay.
Okay, over to you.
Right. Well, in that case, you want to have a run through so all the members can at least see what we're up against tonight, because you've seen them already.
It's up to you. It's your competition.
Right. Well, in that case, we'll have a run through.
All right. Make it quick, but we'll have a run through.
Oops! Hit the wrong button. No good hitting the wrong button. No, I haven't. There we go. Hopefully you're all seeing them.
Whilst we're having a run through, and you can all read the titles, Mike sent me the images through on Saturday, and so I've had a good look at them, and I've gone through and I've considered and judged them as I see fit. I might make some changes tonight based on what I see again, because it's to me it's a live event, and I do change my mind quite often. But I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed looking at them. There are tons and tons of them that are fabulous images that I would have been proud to have taken. You know, so. All credit to the club as a whole for coming up with so many lovely images. So bring them on. Also, I'll say that because of your marking system, you've got we're going from 20 downwards. No half marks. We've got 67 images. I'm not really one for giving everything 20 or 20, 19, 18. I do like to spread the marks out just to show some differentiation between the images. So don't feel too disheartened if your image gets one of the lower marks. It's just that there are so many really, really impressive images that I'm just trying to show the difference between the really impressive and those that are not quite there. You know, they're just a little behind. But like I said, don't feel too upset. Different judge, different night, different mark. So, you know, and if you really are not impressed with me, throw some meat pies at me or some tin cans at me. I'll try and dodge them, but
might have to take your wheels off. Struggle driving home.
Yeah. Well, I had to be careful when I was driving up through around the M60 tonight. It was a bit cold. So
It's certainly a bit chilly.
Yeah.
A bit nippy around the nethers.
Oh, there we go. The other thing that I noticed was that over half your images are nature images, and I've nothing wrong with that because I do like nature photography. Over a third were portraits, so it's more than likely that, but I'm not going to reveal, but it's more than likely that the marks will be that way-ish, but there may be an odd surprise in there or two. There may not. Finally.
Right.
Yeah.
So, are you all ready? Oh, Sam, he says.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I was.
You dozed off then, aren't you?
No. I was listening to you. Okay,
Yeah.
so we've got the portrait of Elaine, and she's well lit. She's well made up, and we've got good eye contact with the photographer, and that's well apparent. Unfortunately for me, the eyes are not pin sharp. It's not. I don't seem to have that sharpness on the eyeballs, the eyelashes, and which is a pity really, because I'm looking at the hair and parts of that seem sharp, but the point that you really want pin sharp, absolute sharpness, is the eyes. So unfortunately, that's going to score 13.
13?
13.
13. And you all ready? We do this, so don't be upset by it. Tell our members whose these are. And that, Elaine, belongs to Ros. Little piece of English paradise.
So I've no idea where the landscape is, but it does look like a little piece of English paradise. I can see the title. I can see why you've given it this title, and I place emphasis on titles. You know, you're going to show me an image. You're going to title it, and I take hints and clues as to where you're pushing me with the title, and it does indicate a hint of paradise. As a landscape, I find it a little bit two-dimensional, in as much that we've got a large expanse of water at the bottom, which we have to get across in order to enjoy that piece of paradise, the hall, the trees, the rolling hills. And unfortunately, we've taken it on a rather flattish day, flat lighting day, where the lighting isn't giving us any shadows. It's not giving us any depth within the image as such. So I'm giving this one 12.
Oh. Oops, I haven't said whose that is. I'm being very naughty. Sorry. And that's another one of Rosie's.
Oh dear.
Pale bullfinch.
Yeah, I like the size of the bird in the frame, the lighting on the bird itself. You've got some fantastic colours. You know, the lovely vibrant colours on its breast. You've got detail in the blacks and good catchlight in the eye. The moss at the bottom, yeah, that works well. If anything, the little piece right on the very edge, if we had a little bit of space underneath that, it just stops the judge thinking, is it too close? Is it not too close? So either crop it so that it's not in, or crop it so that you've got a little bit more in the frame around it. I'm not too fussed about the tail being out of sharpness. I know some judges want beak to tail sharpness. I don't. I can accept that difference. Background really works. This is strong enough to score 17.
Right screen. 17. And male bullfinch is Mark's. Bethany.
So Bethany's Bethany, I'm not sure if she looks overly strained with the arm up above her head. It feels a little bit uncomfortable for me, and the look. I know we're engaging with the photographer, but I just feel as though she's a little bit uncomfortable. I do like the makeup on her face and how you've lit Bethany. I think that works, especially in the hair. You've got a lot of detail in there, so you've not lost anything in the hair or within the jumper. I just feel that hand just above a head like that, it's a little bit too much for me. So I'm giving that one 14.
14. And that's Rosie's is on the lookout.
It could be part of a set, this, couldn't it, from a John Wayne film, or one of those Magnificent Seven type movies. I like the fact that you've got them all in period dress. You've got this quite dramatic sky behind, and you've got the monochrome image. All adds to the effect of that time's gone by, and that feel to it. We've got from a technical side, we've got a white line that's prominent on probably on all three characters, which I'm not sure whether it's as a result of the introduction of a new sky, or whether it's the introduction of some processing technique which is pushing that, which is a pity really, because the overall image, the overall feel of it, I think really works well. But the white line to me stands out. So I'm scoring that one 14.
And that one, Sandra's. Spotted hyena.
This is a place, Mediqui. It's a place I'd love to go to, but obviously we ain't going there this year, next year. But the hyena, I like the stance in it. This looking back, it indicates that it's on the move, but maybe it's just eyed something up. Whether it's a lion coming towards it, whether it's potential prey, or whether it's family, we don't know. But you sense that the bit of blood on its face, that you sense there that there's been some action. So there's a bit of a story in there, and I like that. I know we've got this strong midday sun, which is producing the harsh shadows on its neck and on the ground. I'm not too bothered about the one on the ground, but the one on its neck is quite strong, which there's not really much we can do when you're out in places like this. But I liked the story. Background's a little bit busy, but again, there's not really much you can do with that when you're faced with seeing these large predators like this in the open. 16.
16. And that one's Jill's. Gangster.
Sorry, I was just looking at so the guy's well made up. The pose is right. The tash, the hat. I think the tash is what is one thing that I see the gangster having. I like the table behind, although I'm not sure they would have had Irish whiskey if it was a gangster. I'm a feeling that this guy would have been an American type gangster, so I'd have thought he'd have had bourbon, possibly. But the little carp I've got here is it appears as though his shoes have been cut off, and I'm just checking that it's nothing on my screen, but it looks like his shoes have been cut off, and that was the reason that with the Jameson and the shoes that it scores 15. But I loved the overall image.
15. And that one is Karen's. On the move.
This was the only street photography shot in there, and I do like street photography. It's there's quite an art to it, and you've captured these guys shifting this produce around. I don't think it's in Blackburn. Probably not in Oldham either. It's probably somewhere further afield. But that said, I do like this type of photography. However, for me, I would have liked to have seen them bringing it towards me rather than taking it away from me. And unfortunately, as I look at it, there's nothing actually crisp, bitingly sharp in the image. Whilst the baskets appear to be sharpish, they're not actually really crisp and singing to me. So I scored that one 11.
11. And that's Peter's. Hampshire coastline.
It's a long coastline, isn't it? You can work your way from this bottom left-hand corner with the wooden fence posts in a sort of a snaky path up to the layered sandstone cliffs in the middle ground, and you can then from there work your way around the coastline. So I can see again why the photographer's taken this this landscape shot, and it takes you neatly across to the rolling hills in the far distance, and then we've got that little white tower on the right hand side. Perhaps we could have darkened that down a little bit, but I like the waves in there as well. Again, similar to the other one that we saw, it's although this one has a little bit more shadow in there, but I would have liked to have seen maybe a morning light, early morning light or evening light, to give us a little bit more atmosphere in there, rather than what appears to be somewhere safe between morning and afternoon-ish. So I'm scoring that one 14.
14. Hampshire course was by Rose. Yeah.
Did the title come up with that one then?
Yeah. Ron, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I didn't get the title of that. Ron A. Cliff. It didn't work for me. But the shot itself, it's well lit. The chainmail and the sword, you know, they are in keeping with the guy that's probably about to go out and do battle. The beard fits. You know, it's all in keeping. The background looks like a cloth, but it doesn't distract or detract from the image at all. And so whilst I'm struggling to knock things out and pull it down, I'm also struggling against some of the other images which are a little bit stronger. So this one scores a commendable 16.
16. And Ron is by Ron.
Titling problem. Don't worry about it.
Juvenile Kingfisher.
I like the action in this, the impending action that we've got. The bird's obviously seen a fish, and it's looking ready for that dive, isn't it? You can tell that from this action. Colours are good. The bird sits well in the frame. I know it's quite central, you know, and maybe a crop off the left would have indicated that it would have been more towards a thirds. However, it does work well, and so the Juvenile Kingfisher, I'm scoring 17.
17. And that is by Mark. Answer.
Well captured, well seen, and well thought out. I like the shape of the girl and the arms. I think the monochrome works because, again, we don't know what colours are involved here. So taking those colours out, I think has added something. The monotone or the range of tones within the spectrum there, for me, I find them a little bit compressed, and I would have liked to have seen a little bit more punch in there in within places, and so especially on the dress, I'm finding a little bit too muddy for my liking. So I'm giving this one 15.
15. The answer was by Karen. Lunch bag.
I couldn't actually see what the spider was eating, but I don't suppose that really matters, does it? It's we know that we know what they do, we know how they do it, and I think your crop really works. I think it's you know, you've taken out any of the necessary white I'm not sure whether it's wallpaper, but it doesn't really matter. Any of that white background, I think that crop works. For identification purposes, it's a bit difficult to see the exact details on top of the spider to get the necessaries. However, I'm going to give that one 15.
15. And lunch bag goes by Ros. Mistress.
I like the expression, the lighting on the girl. I like the attire that she's wearing, and the very soft muted colours in this. I think the background is quite complimentary, although I'm not too sure about the rectangle that is on the left hand side round the middle. I'm not. I find my eye being drawn towards that and then looking back at a face, and so if this is one where you've been playing around with it in your favorite piece of software, maybe you could have toned that down a little. Like I said, I keep looking at that and then being drawn to the face again. Like I said, she's well lit and she sits well in the frame. So I'm scoring this one 16.
16. And that's Sandra's. Flock of Mallard.
Yeah, it's quite impressive to see 4 in one shot so close together with such such detail. And if you've captured them as one shot, fabulous. If they're imported from other shots, okay. Similar to a shot that we saw earlier, there are some lines around each bird that, especially on the undersides of each one. Maybe that again, maybe it's a processing technique, so if you're unsure about the how to get rid of that, ask one of the more senior members, because there are plenty in your club that are.
There's a lot of us old ones.
Well, when I said more experienced, I wouldn't say older people.
Stop digging.
Anyway, so and for me, it's a shame that the sky is such a pale colour. It would have been nicer with a brighter sky, for my liking anyway. So I'm going to score the flock of mallards 13. No, I'll score it 14. I've changed my mind. I'll score it 14.
Mallards belong to Sean. Steam heat.
I know this is a play on the Marilyn scene set up from one of the films. I've not a clue what film it was, because it was obviously before my time. It really was before my time, but I have I think it was my granddad who told me about it anyway. So but I think you've done it rather well. I know we've got a manhole cover instead of a grid, but that said, the skirt blowing up, the hand over the face. Yes, I think you've captured that well. As an engineer, I know that steam, if it's going to rise, it's going to rise vertically, and it ain't going to rise at 45 degrees, which we can see is rising. And I know that that's what's meant to be blowing the steam, blowing her dress up. However, she should have been stood over the grid, and I don't know whether we could have moved her slightly so that the steam would have been rising vertically. It might have been a bit hot for her, but some like it hot. Sorry.
Bad, Jeremy. Bad.
So unfortunately, because the steam doesn't rise at 45 degrees. I'm scoring this one 14. I promise I won't do any more bad jokes like that.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, I'm getting all confused now. That one's Sandra's. Shadows hold their breath.
Didn't understand the title. I've got to be honest. I really didn't get that. However, that said, I'm looking at this sky, and don't you just love the sky when it's in this format, you know, and it's giving you all these colours from the deep yellows through to the pinks and the dark blues and the purples, and then that's replicated in the water below. And I know that we've got a pretty good reflection in there, and you can wander across from the reeds on the left hand side, across the mist, and over towards the land in the middle, and then back up on the sky. I do find it's a little bit banded with your reflection, your land, and then your sky again. And I didn't feel as though there was much to take us between the three, but the colours are really nice. So I was a little bit torn with this one, but I'm giving it 14.
14. And that was by Mark. Rannoch Moor.
So Rannoch Moor has to be one of my favourite places. This is one of the three sisters that as you're taking the A82 down in towards Rannoch Moor, in towards Glencoe, you'll see these on your left hand side. And I've been going up there for, I don't know, 10 years, and I've got to admit I've never seen a sky like that. To me it looks rather unusual, I will say, to go from almost paper white on the right hand side to these rather unusual colours on the left hand side. The other thing that got me was overall the quality doesn't appear to be there in this image. Whilst the layout of the photograph works with composition, the quality of the image, i.e. the blacks are severely blocked up, and the whites, I find there's too much area, i.e. the top left hand corner is almost all what I'd class as paper white. So I'm scoring this one 11.
11. Rannoch Moor was by John. Long-tailed tit.
Yeah, I mean, from this angle, we don't get the impression of the length of the tail, do we? Because it must either be coming towards us or going away from us. It's in that perspective. However, the rest of the bird is nice and sharp. The branch that it's on, again, is lovely and sharp. I like the two mossy clumps just below and just above the bird. Nice lighting on the bird with a good catch light, and the background all works well. So I'm scoring long-tailed tit 18.
18. And that was by Malcolm. Attach.
It looks very aggressive, doesn't it? When you look at it like that, with its head thrusting forward and its beak out, and from this angle, the way it's presenting itself, it does look as though it's giving something a real hard stare. I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure it was just having a mooch round. It's the branch that it's on. Again, it really works for us, and we've got good lighting and a good background. So I'm giving that one 17.
15. And that's by Sean. Contemplating freedom.
The more you look at this, the more you look and think, it looks sad. It looks as though it's dejected, and yeah. So contemplating freedom is probably the right sort of title in there, you know. But you look at the sadness in its eyes and the way its mouth is turned down, and you know, it just it's probably heard that we're staying in lockdown for another few months, you know. That's how it feels, and it's trapped inside. The lighting on the animal is really it's sympathetic. It works well. The background also works well. I know I'm carping, but there's an awful lot of really impressive nature shots, and I'm trying to differentiate between all of them. But the in the bottom right hand corner, the fur is a little bit bright, and it's just a subtle difference between this one and the next one and the next one. And like I said, it is a real carp at this level. So I've just knocked it back for that. If you could have darkened that down a little bit, or even perhaps taken it out of the image, fantastic. But as it stands, it's still going to score 17.
And that Happy Chappy is one of Jill's.
So I'm holding that one. I'm holding that one back.
Right. Your fingers, not mine.
Okay, H. Get ready with the H again. Yep, I'm holding that one back.
Holding the green finch. I'm amazed.
Yeah, I love the expression on the girl's face. It does show amazement. You know, at that age, children take everything in. They take it all on board. And that picture of innocence that you see in there, it really is fabulous. It's just missed out on the awards. I really, you know, another month and this would have surely been in there. I love the wispy hair in there. I love the background, the lighting on it. You know, the eyes, the catchlight in the eyes works well. Everything about it sings to me. But unfortunately, like I said, it just missed out in being in those that were held back. So this scores 18.
18. That was by Leslie. Dawn Deliberations.
I'm holding that one back.
Okay. Cormorant.
Yeah, the cormorants, all waterborne birds like this, when they're coming in across the water and they're skiing like that, I think it makes for a fabulous sight. And with the wings outstretched like that, it works well. I know you're not going to get the reflection in. I think if you had have put the reflection in, I think the image would have suffered as a result. So I think your crop like that works, and it doesn't really detract from the image by taking the reflection out. The background works well, and good catchlight in the eye, plenty of detail across it. I'm giving that one 16.
16. Cormorant is Sean's. Portrait of an old man.
Oh yeah, emphasis on the word old.
Only looks old.
Yeah. But again, you've captured the guy rather well. Well, very well. Good lighting on the guy's face, the beard, plenty of detail in it, and I like this triangular shape that you've got with coming from the radius of the head and the wispy bits of hair on top, but then you've got all these long flowing strands of hair coming out, and that continues on with the clothing, with the cape or whatever or the shawl that he's got around him, and I think that really does suit his appearance. Background is complementary, and the lighting that you've got makes the background really fit in well with the guy's hair. So I'm giving that one 17.
17. And that's by Brianna.
Hey, well done.
Juvenile great crested grebe. Doing something.
Yeah. What you immediately are drawn to with this, what I was drawn to, was the small droplets of water that are here, there, and everywhere on the bird's back, on its chin, on its neck, and just behind it. And I think that that's obviously from the correct choice of shutter speed, freezing the action, and capturing the bird with its head sideways on, so that you can see it ready to thrust underwater for a fish. I know we've left with the lighting that it's probably a dull overcast, maybe a rainy day with a little burst of sunlight that's come through just to light the bird up a little bit. And I think that just makes the image work well. 17.
And that one is Andrea's. Natasha.
Natasha's a beautiful model, and I think you've captured her beauty here in the image, and you've captured it well. The pose, I think fits, and I know lots of people struggle with hands in a portrait, but I think the hands crossing over, going to its shoulder, works. The lighting is very complementary, and again, the tonal range across the image works well. When I look at this, and I'm looking for the really bright parts in the image, besides the two bits of jewelry, which I don't see as being a problem, I'm drawn straight to the face, where in a portrait, that's where I want to be drawn. There's nowhere else in the image that's going to take me away. So Natasha scores 17.
17. Natasha was by Jill. Female bullfinch.
I'm not sure if the groups had a trip out together. There seemed to be an awful lot of birds of similar type on similar type features, and I think it's commendable that you're out together as a group like that. I'm only surmising from the fact that there are a number of similar type images, but the bird is there's plenty of detail in there. You can clearly identify this bird from your photograph. We can see all the identifying marks right across it, but the bird itself is sat on a lovely stump with this moss. We've got good catchlight in the eye, and again, your background isn't too distracting. I know it's rather bright, but it doesn't pull my eye away from the bird itself. So the female bullfinch will score 17.
And that's Mark's. Whiskey galore.
I'll hold that one back.
Autumnal black-headed gull.
sorry, I just thought I'd spotted something. So autumnal black-headed gull. Yeah. So I love the lighting on this one. The fact that the bird is just coming down into onto the water itself. We're not sure whether it's just going to sit on the water or whether there's something in front of the bird that it might be coming for. Like the shape with the wings open and fully stretched out, and good colours and well exposed too. 18.
18. And that's Andrea's. That's Brianna.
I'm holding that one back.
Okay. Look who's talking.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused with this one because I know people get dressed up and such like, and it does look very realistic, and so I was a bit challenged by that, because if it's real, the horrible thought goes through me that it's been it's like wearing fox fur. It's just not on. But if it's not real, then you've done a marvelous job of creating something, or the person here has done a marvelous job of creating something that looks real. And so I'm struggling with the bird on the lady's head. The other thing that, and this is just dead unfortunate as you look at it, but she just looks as though she's actually got two cleavages, and I know it's a left arm, but from the image portrayed, it just looks wrong, and I would have been tempted to have asked her to cover up the crease in her left arm, because I just feel as though it was it pulls your eye away from a face, and a face is well made up with the blue and the gold above her eyes. So there was too many things in there that challenged me, and so I scored this one 12.
12. And that's Ron's. The painter.
So I'm going to hold that one back.
Okay. Bullfinch.
Similar to what I've said previously. We've got this lovely stump that the bird is on. Whether it's the same one or not, I don't know. But again, you've plenty of feathers there to identify the bullfinch. And the beautiful colours in there too. You've captured the colours really well. The blacks, the greys in there, you've handled that exposure well. I'm just looking at the small white patch on the back of its on the rear of its body, and I'm not sure if that's going towards absolute whiteness, but it's getting up that way. Just watch your exposure, and if need be, just pull it back a touch. I like the subtle colours in the background, the shades in there that vary from a peachy colour to sort of a brown and blues in there. So that one scores 17.
And that's Sean's. Small skipper on knapweed.
Small skipper on knapweed. I'm going to hold that one back.
Okay. Puffin with sand eels.
Yeah, puffins. Puffins are one of my favourite birds. And I just love the way they are so cute, so cuddly, and will come really close to you and actually speak to you if you get so engaged with them. Uh, we've got them here with a few sand eels in the mouths, and walking along the cliff top edge, with no doubt the sea in the background. Just watch your foreground for little distractions, i.e. in this bottom left-hand corner, you've got the out of focus grasses, and which you've got to get over that to enjoy the beauty of the bird. So just watch these little distractions, because I'm sure wherever you were, there were plenty of puffins around. So stay as you are, but just move fractionally just to get past that little hillock. So this one scores 15.
And that's Peter's. Fighting coots.
I'll hold that one back.
Okay.
Yes, I'll hold that one back.
Bale chaffinch.
Like the look on the bird here, how it's facing from right to left, and then it's got its head turned back, looking over its shoulder towards the right hand side, and as we look at it, and so it's in a good pose. I like the stump that it's on. It's old. It's slight bit of moss at the front, you know, and it's well worn. And so you've got something interesting for it to stand on. The background again works well, and lovely and sharp. 17.
And the chaffinch is by Malcolm. You're in my space.
Yes. So the title indicates or intimates a battle that's about to happen, and you can see that with the both with the mouths open, and you can see the inside color of the mouths clearly. It's again similar to one that we saw earlier. It's not as bitingly sharp as I would have hoped for. I know that we've used a fairly fast shutter speed because we're freezing the droplets of water. However, the focus doesn't appear to be bang on the heads of either bird. It to me it appears as though it's a little bit closer, and I would have preferred it if it was making the birds jump out of the image, which unfortunately don't. 12.
12. And that's by Leslie. Now.
So I looked long and hard at this one. I looked at, and I was trying to get across what the author was photographed, and see what exactly we're trying to capture here. I know that we've got some lovely lighting falling on the that left bank, and we've got a little bit of mist rising up in the middle distance as the water goes off, maybe to the right, or might even go around that banking in the middle. So I did like the mist and the lighting falling in that central area. However, again, similar to the last one, I'm not seeing enough that's pin sharp, and I'm not sure if this is actually camera shake or if it's if it's not in focus. But I'm not too sure. But so just watch your settings when you're taking your camera out. Maybe just put it on a tripod and just slow yourself down. I've started using tripods, and I found it really works. So but Canal will score 11.
That's Jones. Buckfast Abbey.
So the from this angle, yeah, we're seeing right down the abbey. We can see lots of detail in there with the white pillared arches, and the quite lovely contrast in the roof. You know, the with the yellows and the reds, and I think that's quite complementary with what's below it. And then if you come right down, you've got the timbered seating in the middle distance, and then in front of that you've got the pews. And I'm always when I've photographed cathedrals or abbeys such as this, I'm always wondering whether I should go beyond these initial pews and go up to the red line, maybe even remove that robe and then put it back afterwards, or ask somebody, is it okay to remove that? Because I find as though I've got to jump over that red rope to enjoy the rest of the image. And for me, I'm constantly trying to remove all the pews and get to that red rope, because I find that is the lovely part of the image. So for me, unfortunately, Buckfast Abbey, whilst there's a lot of lovely colours and detail in there, the bottom third or bottom quarter, I really got to get past that to enjoy the rest of it. So Buckfast Abbey scores 13.
Buckfast Abbey is by John. Hello there.
Yeah, you can feel the humour with the title. And you get that hello there expression as it peers around the branch, looking straight down your lens. And there's a certain intimacy, isn't there? You've managed to get yourself right up close to the squirrel, and unless you're using an 800mm or something like that lens, but it just feels as though you are up close and personal, and all credit to you for that. The lighting works well, and it's good to see both sides, both eyes in there, so it's looking directly at you, you know, and we've got catch lights in them. Should we have had the whole of the animal on? Because where it is, you know, we've cropped its left hand, claw, paw, and then we've cropped its left leg, and I just keep wondering, should we have had it on? And maybe it was a grab shot, you know, because we've got a little bit more up top than we have below. I don't know. It niggles me, because I would have loved to have seen the bottom part of the animal. But the rest of it I think is really good. So I scored that one 14.
14. And that's Leslie's. If only.
If only we were out of lockdown. If only I had the right 6 numbers. Yeah, the expression, if only, or his expression and the title, I think do work. So you're trying to give me a story, and when you bring a story into a photograph, it gives the judge something to talk about. The blue background, it doesn't really add much to the story. It doesn't take anything away, but it doesn't give me anything else to talk about in there. Little bit of a white mark around his left ear, and I keep being drawn to that, because once you see it, you know, it takes you away from his eyes, and it's a shame it knocked a mark off, and so if only got 15.
15. Excuse me. And if only was by Peter. Juvenile Chaffinch.
I like the downy, fluffy feathers that we've got here on the bird, and you know, and the colours on it. I think that's lovely. It's beautiful, and the lighting on the bird works well. Again, you've got it on a beautiful twig on with some lichen on the end. Lovely shades on the yellow. I think complementary to its breast feathers. I think the knot partway down works well. Might have been tempted to crop it, you know, just as the diagonal goes into the corner, rather than just leaving a small edge where you've actually nothing but background. So I might have been tempted just to take the branch into the corner rather than just leaving it sat short. I don't think it would have done any harm to the composition. The background, should we have had a bit more detail in there? Possibly. You know, just the faintest hint of some foliage or vegetation as such. But as it stands, juvenile chiffchaff will score 16.
16.
Okay. Do we want to take a break there after this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's by Sean.
That was Sean. Okay, folks. What we'll do is we'll take a break there and we'll be back about 22. That's okay with everybody?
Yep.
Good to me.
Do you know who that last one was by, Mike?
That was by Sean.
Thank you.
Ready when you are.
Okay.
Natasha? It's Natasha, isn't it?
Yeah, Natasha.
Yeah. I'll ignore the 4. So the coming in close, I think that works. I think the this very tight crop, I think being intimate and in your face, as it were, I think it works well, you know. But you've got to make sure that everything is spot on, and I think you've handled the exposure well. You've got the sharpness where it needs to be on the eyes. However, right across the image, especially on her hands, there appears to be a sort of a blue cast in there, and on a face as well. And I'm not sure how that's been achieved, whether it's deliberate as well. But the blue cast didn't really work for me, which is a pity, because I like the composition. So the blue cast brings the image down to 15.
15. And Natasha is by Sandra. Fox cub.
Nice and alert, isn't it? It's you know, with this, again, this engaging look straight down the barrel of the lens, and ears are up, wide alert, looking at you, eyes are wide, and then you've got this one leg lifted off the ground, saying that we're ready to either come towards us or turn and run, or even come a little bit closer for maybe some food that's on the ground. Don't know, but you've got that atmosphere, haven't you? I like the space on the left hand side. I think that gives us something to work with. So if it is going to turn and run, it's going to turn into that space, and the light on the fox works well. 17.
And that's Sean's. Lotus flower with Latin name supplied.
Yes, and the flower itself is nice and sharp, crisp, where it needs to be, right on the edge of the petals. I know we're not seeing inside of the flower, so we've no detail as such as to the central part. So you know, you would be struggling to identify it from that side. And I know that the lighting is very, very contrasty. You know, you've got strong sunlight taking out some of the detail in the central parts where the pinks, the very light, subtle shade of pink has burnt out completely. And it's taking out some of the details in the lower petals as well. And I know it's difficult because we can't take the sun away from us, but you can, if possible, get somebody else to hold a reflector above, or a diffuser, just to soften the lighting coming down, and that you would find will take away the harsh shadows, take away that harsh light, and give you back all that detail that we're just missing. And just watch the greens down at the bottom. They look a little bit too saturated for my liking. So unfortunately, Lotus Flower, whilst the composition works, it's only going to score 13 because of the harsh lighting.
And that's Peter's. Dunnock.
Dunnocks are beautiful birds, and this one is no exception. It's posing well on the mossy crop here. It's again nice and alert. The detail in the eye and the surrounds work well. Very strong lighting again on the bird, which some might say is a little bit overly bright, especially when you compare it with the background on the soft, subtle shades in the background. So you do find that you, especially initially, you look at it and think, wow, that's a little bit bright. And then look at the chest feathers and how soft and subtle the lighting is on those. Again, could we have waited a couple of seconds till the lighting has cooled off a little bit? Possibly. Maybe the Dunnock had flown by then. Don't know. But as it stands, Dunnock is going to score 15.
And Dunnock is by Leslie. Making hoverflies.
I'll hold that one back.
Okay. Owl.
So Raoul is yeah, you've I don't know whether you've captured this guy in foreign climes or whether he's a local, but I think you've been drawn by the character that you're seeing with the hair, the beard, the lines on the face, his teeth, and such like. So you're drawn to seeing this character and trying to bring out the best in him. And again, I can see what you've done. You've positioned him off to slightly off center, so that's given us space to look into and look across the image. And because he's looking slightly up, we've got a little bit more space upwards. And so compositionally, I think that works, and that works well. The lighting in there, I think the soft flat lighting works because it doesn't give you too much harsh shadows in there. However, I again the sharpness, the area of sharpness that I'm looking for, it doesn't sing to me, and that's the eyes. They don't really appear that crisp and that sharp as I would expect them to do so. So I'm scoring this one 14.
Raoul was by Peter. Nuthatch.
Nuthatch. I'll hold that one back.
Okay. Free as a bird.
Yeah, free as a bird. And the bird, again, similar to one that we saw earlier. It's coming into land. It's lovely and sharp. Good lighting on the bird. With the wings outstretched like that, you can see all the feather detail, the primary feathers and such like. And then we've got the small amounts of water on the inside of this close wing and the tail feathers too, and you know that just shows the amount of detail in there. I'm giving that one 18.
And that's by Leslie. Viking Raiders.
Yeah, this one, it's I've looked at this quite a few times over this past week, and it's moved up, it's moved down, it's moved up, and for different reasons. And I like the main character. You know you've got this guy that he's well exposed and he's dressed as you would expect as a Viking raider may do. Not that I've seen many Viking raiders around Blackburn. We don't tend to get them there that much.
They're frightened of it, aren't they?
Yeah. However, he gives the appearance that he was lit in the studio from the mere fact that the two catch lights, one in his left eye, one in his right eye, are both outward. And so that to me says I've got a flashlight to the a softbox to the left and a softbox to the right. And that's the impression, because I don't yet know of an area where we can get the sun in bouncing off two different sides. But that said, the background is you've got these there's more Vikings in there. You've got a heavy sky indicating atmosphere, and so you've got this we've gained a red line. I don't know where that appeared from, but it doesn't matter. The atmosphere in it I think works well. I was just I was just looking at those catch lights, but it was still enough in there. There was still enough content in there for me to score it 18. Because I did like that image, so I scored it 18.
18. And the Viking Raiders is by Ron. Someone's still playing with the annotate.
So, Little Skipper, I loved this image, and this was nearly held back. It was very, very close. In the end, it didn't quite make it. But looking at the position in the frame, I think that really works well. You know, you've got it on you've got it just off center, so it can move onto this leaf if it so needs. The background really works. It's very complementary. My only carp with this, and it is a carp, and some will say, God, he's picky, that judge. Left-hand edge, that leaf is dead close to the edge, and again, if I'd have had a bit more space, or and I don't think it would have worked if I'd have cropped the leaf in two, but if there'd have been a fraction more space around that leaf, I think it would have just given that little bit of breathing space in the image. But that said, it still scores 18 because there's loads of detail in it.
18. Little Skipper is by Brianna. Bill Beck.
This is I think this is one of those subtle images that you can just pass over if you're not careful, and you just move through them very quickly and very easily. But there's an awful lot going on in this image from the foreground interest of these autumn leaves at the base of the stream, the beck, and when you start wandering through the stream, you notice that they are there all the way up to the shadow of the tree, or the reflection of the tree, and either side you've got the bank pulling you in and drawing you into that tree, and from above you've got these lovely colors on either side of the beck, the two hills left and right, and they draw you into the tree, and then the heavy sky above also pulls you down. So pictorially, I think that really does work, and it's quite a strong image. And so Milbeck is again going to score 18.
And that's by Jill. Long-tailed tit.
This is another one in good lighting, and that's what I was saying previously when you saw some of the earlier ones where the lighting was quite flat, and then you've got some with this warmer light on the bird, which I find a little bit more interesting. And in this one, you can see the length of the tail from this position that it's in. Good lighting, lots of detail. Again, good detail in the eye and on the piece of timber as well. Background is complementary. I'm giving that one 18.
And that's by Leslie. Retro Rob.
Sorry, I just needed a little drink. So the guy himself, he's well made up. He's again with this slight tilt of the head and tilt of the hat, accentuating the head movement. I think that adds to the atmosphere, and you know, the overall suit, the shoes, and the environment that he's in, I think all complementary. I think the rather heavy burning in, I think that works. Again, it's forced back towards the guy. Wasn't sure what the title was referring to. Retro Rob. It didn't instill anything in me to this guy. But that said, it was still strong enough to score 17.
And that's by Sandra. Female Bonseer Tigger something to fly.
Oh, I thought you would have pronounced it properly. But it's fine because I'm going to hold that one back, so you can have another go at saying it later.
Oh, thank you. Mr. Smooth.
Yes, Mr. Smooth, and you see that, don't you? He is Mr. Smooth. The soft lighting on his face, the beard, the hat, the attire that he's wearing, all speaks Mr. Smooth. So again, you've chosen a title that is quite complimentary. The feature on his hand, whether it's a tattoo, whether it's makeup, I wouldn't like to say, but I am drawn to it, and I keep looking at his face, then the hand, then back to his face, because it's another face in the picture, and because it's upside down, you want to turn upside down and look at his hand, which I just find a little bit distracting, because I want to be looking at Mr. Smooth and all of his clothing and his hat and such like, and I find as though I'm being drawn back to the to his hand, which is a pity really, because it would have scored higher, but unfortunately it's only going to score 16.
Mr. Smooth is by Karen. Blue tit in the snow.
And we've had plenty of that of late, haven't we? Even last night it was snowing. I don't know if it was snowing in Oldham, but I was out doing a bit of photography last night and it still snowed, and I didn't want it to. But anyway, that's by the by. So the blue tit, yes, it's in the snow. We've got the snow on the vertical piece of timber, a bit on its head, and then we've got the odd flake coming down out of focus, but that shows that it's coming down, and I don't mind that. The only one that I find distracting is the very bright one that's in the middle of the branch, in the middle of the bird. and it's a bit unfortunate because it's so bright. You're immediately drawn towards that one, and so I was just wondering if you had another in the batch, because I find that one just a little bit too strong, that snowflake, and I found it a little bit small in the frame. I was just wondering, could we have lost anything off the right hand side? Maybe a little bit off the top, just to make it a little bit larger in the frame. I just felt because it's such a vertical image and in a landscape portrait, I just felt it was a little bit lost. So all in all, Blue Tit in the Snow only scored 12.
Oh, and that's Malcolm's. Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa's got lovely smile on her face, and she's obviously engaging with the photographer, obviously at ease, excuse me, at ease with the photographer from the expression that we can see here. The dress that she's wearing, I think, is very complimentary, as is the background to her skin tones. So you're working the lighting and the and everything else for the girl, and you've made it work well. Eyes are nice and sharp. Depth of field is very shallow, so your aperture is probably wide open with I don't know, with an 85mm lens, something of that ilk. But it forces you to look directly at the eyes, and everything else is of lesser importance. So Lisa's going to score 16.
It is by Ros. Jenny Wren.
So the reflection that we've seen here is obviously what the author was drawn to, and no doubt we've or hopefully we've got plenty of shots, but this one with the mouth open, the beak open like that, nice and sharp, and sharp in the reflection too, works extremely well. The you've been blessed with having lots of detail in the reflection, and because it's such a small bird, having a big reflection wouldn't have worked, but it does in this image. I think you've in darkening down the peripheral areas, I think that forces you back into the image. And whilst it might seem a little bit contrasty, you know, quite strong light, it did enough to score 16 points.
16. Genuine is by Malcolm. Exeter Lady Chapel.
So the fairly tight crop that we've got here forces us to look at the top end of the chapel, the Lady Chapel, and all the arches, and then into the stained glass windows. We might be losing a little bit of detail in the bottom left windows, and a bit on the right hand side windows. And I know that they are almost sideways onto the camera, but it does look a little bit burnt out in that area. However, that said, there's lovely tones, and I like the change to mono and then adding the sepia in there. I think that's added something into the image. Like I said, the tight crop right up to the I'm not sure of the exact term, but at the base of it, where we've got the gate leading up to the altar, I think that tight crop worked, and that was enough to score that one. The Exeter Lady Chapel, 17 marks.
And that's John's. Mishka.
Mishka. She's got a beautiful face, has Mishka, and lots of attention in the eyes, and you feel yourself being drawn to the eyes, and you know, and there's a lot of beauty in there. And then outside of that, you've got this radiance that spills outwards around the hair, and then into the jumper. The skin tones are very soft, and work well, and the background is complementary. However, when I look at it, I don't know whether this is me or not, but I appear to see what's almost like a second image around the base of a chin, and it appears in areas around the jumper as well. And I don't know if that's if there's something untoward going on, or if it's my eyesight. And I feel as though it's something that's within the photograph, which is a pity, really, because it's a beautiful photograph. And I know it's tightly cropped, but that works for me. But like I said, there's something untoward in there, which looks a little bit odd. It's still going to score 16, but so I'm just a little bit baffled by that.
Mishka is by Sandra. Indian black kite.
Yeah, the bird, the look on the bird's face with that beak, that razor sharp beak, you see that, and you know the bird means business. It's obviously looking down at something down on the floor in front of us, and rightly so. I think the crop, we don't need to see what that is. We're just focusing in on the bird. It's sat on this green fence, which obviously goes off to the left and then around the bird and round behind and then off into the distance, which I know there's little we can do about that. It's probably in the environment that it's in, that it's moving closer and closer into the cities, and for the easy pickings. However, it did distract a little bit, but not enough. Not enough to take it away from its 16 marks.
16, and that's Peter's.
So
Right, you've got 11.
I'm guessing there were 11. 11.
11.
Okay. So
Would you like to look at them all?
I'll have a look at them. I'll speak about them, and then we'll pick out some scores.
Yeah. Do you want to look them on one screen first, or straight through them?
No, we'll go straight through, and we'll go any order you like.
Okay. Let's just make sure we do the right things then. View held images. There we go.
Yeah, it's good to see. So those that have held back for good reasons, and here you can see the two birds doing something, and so a lot of the birds previously were sat down. Here we've got them squabbling, so it's and so it's giving me something else to consider, and so the birds, yes, obviously the title is Squabbling Goldfinches. However, with no distractions in the background, the lighting is good, choice of shutter speed is good, the aperture works well, so it's very difficult to fault. Okay, I love that shot, and whilst I said about birds, doing something here, again, the lighting on the bird is really impressive. The detailing is impressive. The coloration is really good, and the background again works really well. so again, and with all of these images that I've held back, I really can't find fault with them. So and that's why they're in this category. So again, it's I love that shot. I'll find I keep saying that. Dawn Deliberations. So we are up close and personal with the mute swan, and you know, I find the only time you see people who are up close and personal is when they've got a loaf of bread and they're feeding them and they're coming at you. But this shot is just something different because you're right on the water's edge at the water level, so it's making it look far more impressive because you're looking straight, well, almost up at the bird. The mist in the background, you know, that adds atmosphere, and then you've got this warm sunrise just somewhere off to the left, but it's coming up there, and all that adds to the atmosphere of this dripping water coming off its beak. Yeah, super shot.
Risky galore.
Obviously a play on the film, but I love the guy in his attire. We've got the couple of barrels behind that Glenn Morangi and they just neatly fill up that space in top corners. The cane, the hats, the attire that he's wearing all work and work really well. The lighting on the guy is fab. Again, stunning shot.
Rihanna.
The girl is well made up. She's beautifully lit, and she sits well in and poses well for the photographer. The outfit that she's wearing is it complements her skin color and her hair. The crown, I think it does two things. One is it fits in nicely with what she's wearing. However, the second one is quite often a forehead can be quite bright, but you've masked that neatly by putting something there which takes that bright area away. The background works well. So again, it's stunning shot.
Painter.
Yes, I like the guy with the pipe, the hat, and he's got his painter's board and easel out, brush at the ready, poised for the painting, and I can only assume that he's doing this from memory rather than from what he sees, because obviously we are probably in a studio with some background behind him, but I don't see that as an issue, because I know that painters do paint from memory. They're not always out there on location. So yeah, I think that works.
Small skipper on knapweed. Have you gone? Like it. Excuse me a moment while I just try to fix this bloody thing. Oh.
He's got a very satisfied expression though while he's gone.
Right, so it's not me that's gone then.
Can you hear me?
Oh, he's back again.
I was always here. I hadn't gone, honest.
Went away. You dozed off again, didn't you?
No, honest, I didn't. Honest. So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. So yes, I was saying the compositionally, I like the space that you've given the insect to look into on the right hand side, and we've got the space around it on the left and above, and I think that is important, and lighting works well, and and we've got plenty of sharpness for such a small subject, so that's why that's in this group.
Again, lighting coots.
Choice of shutter speed, you know, it's really important, and you can see why when you look at this shot with the 3 coots there, because you've got a third one just almost out of sight behind the one that's backing off, but that I don't find a distraction, by the way. I see that as part of the whole story, but the main thing that you immediately drawn to is the one on the right hand side with its wings thrust back and its head ready to strike down on the one that's cowering, and it's a good piece of storytelling from that angle.
Yep.
Okay.
Hitting hoverflies.
Yes, so you're showing us here the a slice of action on a very small subject, the hoverflies, and so we've got and this goes back to what I was saying previously on a subject where the branch didn't quite go into the corner. Here you've got your diagonal coming out of your bottom left-hand corner, and it takes you neatly just below center, and then stops almost by the right-hand edge, this blade of grass. And so you're giving me a lovely composition that is very pleasing and pictorial to work with. And then having the 2 hoverflies central with good lighting and a soft, even background makes it easy for a judge to lift this one out of the pack. Okay.
Touch.
Yeah, it's Nuthatch, famous for going down the tree, and here we can see it razor sharp claws holding on tight with a seed in its mouth. So again, it's engaged in an activity, and I think that is important. I think the tree on the left hand side is a lovely stop, and it stops us drifting out of the image, and on there we've got what looks like a little bit of sap running down. Again, it's not much, but it all adds into the story, you know. And again, you've got a background that is not only is it it doesn't distract and draw your eye away from the bird, but the colours in there are complementary to the breast feathers on the bird. Super.
And female Corsia tigrum.
Nearly.
Like that. Don't
so,
do Latin.
I'd like to know how you know it's a female. However, that said, again, compositionally, you know, and I appear to be repeating myself over a number of images here, but you're doing the everything that you would expect to get the images right, and that is, give me some space where it's looking, give me some room to maneuver, to breathe in, and have it lovely and sharp. No obvious highlights or blocked up shadows anywhere, and I just love the sharpness that you get on the flies and the detail therein. And I know that the far wing, you know, it's just drifting out of focus, But I've said this on many an occasion that at this sort of scale, the amount that you get that's actually in focus, we're talking a few millimeters, you know, and so it's tiny in comparison to other genres. So I just that drifting out on that far wingtip doesn't bother me at all. Super sharp.
Right. How do you want to start picking them out?
Okay, so should we go back to the big screen, the contact page? And I shall give number 53, the Nuthatch, a 19.
Go through who all these belong to when you've done them all.
Okay, and I shall give the 37, small skipper on knapweed, a 19. And the painter will also get a 19. And number 23, the male greenfinch, will score 19. Whiskey Galore. Oh yeah, I can see the numbers coming up. That's fine. Female Coensia tigrum, 19.
Right, so the Whiskey Galore, is that a 19 or is that a...
Yeah, sorry, that was a 19. That was a 19.
19, right.
Sorry. Yes. Female Coensia tigrum, 19. Nuthatch. So how many do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Princess Brianna, 19. Okay. They're all scoring 19.
Yep. You want to refresh those?
Well, it's fine. I can continue if you want. I'm going to score. Let me just check. Yeah, squabbling goldfinches. Yes. Yeah, I'm scoring that one 20.
20?
Right.
Well, let's see who these are. We've given all a good clap on the 20s. That's Andrea's.
Well done,
There you
Andrea.
go.
Mating hoverflies. 20.
And that's Andrea's.
Done. Yeah.
Fighting coots, 20.
Fighting Coots, 20. And that's Andrea's.
Lord. And Dawn Deliberations, 20.
20?
If I could have given this 21, I would have done. I think this is absolutely stunning, but it still scores 20.
And Dawn Deliberations is Mark's.
Okay. I'm glad it wasn't Andrea's.
Well done.
Well done. Right.
Yeah.
So let me just show all the 19s. So the male goldfinch, greenfinch, I mean, is Mark's.
Well done.
Whiskey Galore is Ron's.
Well done, Ron.
Princess Brianna is Brianna's.
Well done,
Self-portrait.
Brianna.
The painter is Karen's.
Well done, Karen.
Ball skipper on Knapweed is Jill's.
Well done, Jill.
And the nuthatch is Brianna's.
Well done, Brianna.
And the female fly eating another fly
Chicken.
is Andrea's.
Well done, Andrea.
Right. Well done.
Well done, everybody. Thank you, Jeremy, for marking these images for us. Just say it was not easy to go through all these, some cracking images, and well done to all the members that put their images in.
Well done, Andrea.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done, Andrea.
Well done, Andrea.
Done.
Well done, Brianna.
Yes.
Yes.
Well done, Brianna. Well.
I will gloat over getting above Brianna for once.
It's not easy.
No.
Not easy.
No.
As you've probably gathered, our newest and youngest member, it's beating
Wiping
everybody.
the floor with the rest of us. And you can
Yeah.
pack in doing macro as well, sweetheart. Give us a chance.
It's good to see. It's good to see. Okay, well, thank you, Jeremy, again, and a round of applause for the judge.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hope that was enjoyable for you, Jeremy.
I've got to say that I found this one particularly difficult because there were so many really impressive images throughout, and I know that predominantly they were portrait and nature. You know, there was probably 80 or 90% portrait and nature, but they were really, really impressive. And it's it made it that little bit harder. So all credit to you, Oldham PS.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it for tonight, folks. We'll officially close the meeting. However, if you wish to stay behind and have a chat on anything, you're more than welcome to do so. But thanks for everybody, and we'll see you again next week. Okay, good night, everybody. And
Night. Night.
Bye.
Night, everybody.
Bye.